So one of the subscribers to this channel just purchased a home with only $2,000 out of pocket. Now, I've been saying on this channel for a while that, the housing market is at a new bottom. As you can see, you haven't seen or heard from really a lot of the housing bubble boys for a while, because essentially the real estate market is not crashing. Like I said, we're at a new bottom for the real estate market in the majority of the country. Now, you have places like California and certain other smaller cities that are having price corrections, but there's no crash going on. And these states, these local governments, these municipalities know this, right? And they know that it's hard for the average person to come up with the down payment to buy a home. So what most places in the country have done is they've stepped in and they've provided the money to assist people with buying a home. And in this case, one of the subscribers to this channel, who's also my client, has purchased a home using these funds, and this is in the state of Maryland, to buy a home. And all over the country, these programs are available, but you have to actually step up and take advantage of them. Now, in this particular situation, she used several programs, which in my state, I can't speak for every state when it comes to this, but they allow you to bundle the programs. Meaning you can get some money from over here, some money from over here, and you can put it together and use it as a down payment for your down payment and your closing costs. And in this case, she only had to bring $2,000 to the table, and the remainder of her down payment and closing costs were covered. Now, she doesn't have to pay this money back. It's forgiven after 3 years. So as long as she holds onto the property for 3 years, she doesn't have to pay it back. Now, if she sells the property within these 3 years, of course, it will come from the proceeds if there are any, or she'll have to pay out of pocket. But as long as she holds onto it for 3 years, that money is 100% forgivable. Okay. She basically got free money from the state, and they allow her to use it to put down on the home, and she did so. Now, this goes back to, I've been talking about this for a year. Every state has this. Now, there may be small details and stipulations that are different, but for the most part, every state has this. Now, I'm only licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so I can only assist people in those states. I can put links in the description, that can pretty much provide a map, and you can find your state. But this is something that everybody should be trying to take advantage of if you don't have the down payment to get into a home. Of course, you're going to have to qualify for this stuff, right? You have to be able to qualify to buy a home in order to get access to the money. But again, it's useful. It's forgivable, and you come to the table with less money. Now, let me say this, because I get this question all the time. When it comes to these down payment assistance programs, can you buy a duplex or a multifamily? The answer to that is 99% of the time, no. The only people that can use these no down payment style loans to buy multifamilies are veterans. Those are, VA loans, right? Because those loans don't have down payments attached to them. They just have closing costs. So veterans can buy duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes with essentially no down payment. But everybody else, unfortunately, outside of maybe the NACA program, which is a long, strenuous program, these state and municipality programs will not allow you to use down payment assistance to buy a multifamily, unfortunately. Now, the other question that I always get is, can you use down payment assistance to buy an investment property? The answer is and will always be no. None of these places are going to give you money to make money. Okay, if you want to buy an investment property, sorry, unfortunately, you're going to need 20 to 25% down of your own cash if you're financing to buy an investment property. That's just how the game goes. But back to the down payment assistance. This style assistance is available everywhere. Now, maybe not Canada. I'm not sure about Canada. I get asked a lot about Canada. I don't know. But within the United States, you can get access to this money. And it's been out there for a while. They took that extra stimulus money and they said, you know what? The real estate market is somewhat unaffordable for the average person because of the down payment pressure. So you know what? We're going to supply, the majority, right? Let's just say you got to put down, the 3.5% on the FHA or 3% on the conventional, and then you may have between 2 and 3% for the closing costs. You may have a total of like 5.5%. Well, they may cover like 4.5%, and in some cases they'll cover the whole 5%, depending on how you stack the programs and what programs you're using. Because I know, like in the state of Maryland, if you got a 720 across the board and you got student loans, as long as they're under 50,000, they'll pay off your student loans, they'll pay your closing costs, and give you the money for the down payment. There's a lot of people out here that are really just walking into a home without putting any money down, zero. But in the case of my client, she only had to put down $2,000. Now that's, a lot better than what most. And the thing is, most people aren't resourceful enough, right? Anytime I meet real estate clients, the first thing I think of is, all right, how can I help them out? I know how to get access to these programs. The lenders that I work with know how to get access to these programs. We know how to negotiate with sellers to help them get in with as least money as possible. That's always the game plan from the get-go. So that way they can save their money for a rainy day fund or to furnish their home or whatever the case is. So if you're in the real estate market, you got to be able to think strategically like that, whether you're buying yourself or whether you're an agent or even a loan officer. A lot of loan officers don't know about these programs, but they're out there. We always think strategically in this manner to get access to this stuff.